Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Tingnay Tim Hokip bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include: Kim notifies not to consider Manipur government's guidelines for permanent housing scheme for displaced Kuki community. PM Modi should pay heed to RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat's advice on Manipur, says opposition. News in details. The Kuki INP Manipur, in its executive meeting held on the 11th June 2024, deliberated on the Manipur government's guidelines for permanent housing scheme for the displaced persons, constructed that such scheme and plan initiated by the Manipur government is inimical to the interests and wishes of the Kuki people as a whole. As per the release, the Kuki INP Manipur, in accordance with its Emergency Assembly Resolution Number 3, dated 4 July 2023, hereby intimate these resolves to all the displaced persons belonging to the Kuki community not to consider the aforesaid scheme initiated by the Manipur government. This crucial resolution is adopted to reiterate our firm resolve and commitment to ensure justice, peace and security for our people in the face of the wanton discrimination and persecution of our people perpetrated under the Manipur state government. The Kuki people will not compromise our rights to justice, fairness and equality, and will therefore willingly resist any plan or initiative before arriving at a permanent political solution to the ongoing ethnic cleansing pogrom upon our people. The release further said that the Kuki brethren, who have suffered immense hardships and difficulties in the injustice that have been meted to us, we would like to thank you for your unwavering support, and we would seek your support in future as well, so as to strive for our collective goals and objectives. With your help, we shall overcome the trials and tribulations that we have been met to go through, but all that with God's help, everything is possible. Justice and equality for our people will be non-negotiable, and we shall fight for it to the end, added the release. The Kuki Zo village volunteer Wangay Hang and Tui Langkol is appalled to learn that Arambay Tengol and Mera Paibis of Jiribam town has imposed blockade on supplies of essential commodities for Kuki Zo community. The Kuki Zo village volunteers in their press release mentioned that the blockade imposes restricted even urgent medical requirements which are meant for ailing patients. Such unproductive and unsolicited actions are meant only to provoke others and escalate violence in the area. As such, it is clearly evident that Arambay Tengols, Mera Paibis, Meitei militants, etc. are hunger for intensifying violence. On 14 of May, Segolin Singson of Paitol village was missing from temporary Naka checkpoint on National Highway 37 near Paitol village, whose badly ridden and tortured dead body was found on 17 of May near Moljol village in Jiri River. Also on the 8th of June, after Meitei militants had carried out full-scale attack upon Kuki Zo people settlement in Jiribam town areas, burning every Kuki Zo houses. Moreover, not contented with that, they imposed blockade to every Kuki Zo individual trying to escape from Jiribam town with the intention of annihilating them. On 6 June, Mr. El Lalian Muang of Vengnom was dragged out of his house and his whereabouts still unknown. The release further warns that if such unethical and inhuman practice of blockading essential commodities is not stopped immediately, the village volunteer will compel to take necessary actions against it by imposing counter-economic blockade on National Highway 37 indefinitely. The KJVV also appraised the concerned authority that any untoward situation arising because of this Meitei blockading of Kuki Zo people and their commodities will be sole responsibility of concerned authorities, added the release. The Kuki rebellion issued a press statement drawing the attention of the state of Manipur, northeast region, that the violence has flared up since 3rd May 2023. The majority Meiteis started the ethnic cleansing to annihilate minority Kukis in the northeastern state of Manipur, India, which led to a total separation of Kukis and Meiteis with a clear boundary demarcation buffer zones maintained by security forces. However, it is unfortunate that the state-sponsored Meitei militant like the Arambay Tanggol, Meitei Lipun, and secessionist MPA, UNLF, KCP, PLA, along with the guidance of the state armed forces and police, breached the buffer zones freely on numerous occasions to attack the Kukis who are defending their ancestral land. How the Myanmar-based foreign-funded Meitei militants demanding a sovereign country as the release. A security threat to India has now become the lawmaker of Manipur Central Forces to attack the Kukis. While the demand for a separate state under the Indian constitution by the Kuki SOO signatory has become the locus of suppression. The release further claimed that the secessionist Meitei militants have a history of attacking and killing Indian armed forces in Manipur on numerous occasions in the past. However, the Kuki militants have never attacked the Indian armed forces out of respect and in recognition of the Indian armed forces' purpose of safeguarding and protecting the citizens in the region. Despite acknowledging these facts, there have been numerous instances during the ongoing Manipur violence. The CAPF have sided with the Meitei secessionist militants as well as the Meitei armed radicals like Arambay Tanggol. This biased behavior by the CAPF has not gone down well with the Kuki community. The CAPF must uphold the highest standards of professionalism and refrain from siding with the Meitei community, or else withdraws the CAPF from the buffer zone completely to ensure neutrality. Kuki rebellions, out of respect to the central forces who manned the buffer zones, did not retaliate nor attack the Meitei militant inside their territory unless otherwise. For the state-sponsored militants armed to the teeth, the central forces have become a haven for escapee Meitei militants after their heinous crime in police uniforms. We urge the Home Minister to withdraw all the central forces from the buffer zones in order to avoid any misunderstanding caused by the state-sponsored Meitei militants. We will not tolerate any attacks and stand our ground to face any incoming threats to retaliate. Unless the Union government is willing to ensure the maintenance of peace in Manipur, it may be advisable to withdraw all CAPF from the buffer zone. This would allow the Kuki Meitei communities to confront each other directly without any external interference, added the release. The Young Kuki has criticized the Rongmei Naga Students Organization Manipur (RNSOM) for retaliating against and not abiding by the imposing of an economic blockade on National Highway 37 by the Kuki INPI Southwest Cedar Hills, Kuki Students Organization Southwest Cedar Hills, and Kuki Women Union Multam region. The group urged that the recent violence in Jiribam against the Kuki-Zo people has compelled them to call for an economic blockade along the Kuki inhabited areas of National Highway 37. The Young Kuki acknowledges the state-sponsored acts of terror against the Kuki-Zo community and their perseverance. They argue that their call for an economic blockade is a democratic exercise of their right to free speech and assembly as enshrined in the Constitution of India. They also highlighted the historical precedent of the 130-day economic blockade imposed by the United Naga Council UNC on National Highway 2 and National Highway 37 from November 1, 2016 to March 19, 2017, which significantly crippled the Kuki economy and caused widespread suffering among the Kukis. The Young Kuki questions that Ranjoms believe that only Rongmeis have the right to call for economic blockades, arguing that this notion is undemocratic, discriminatory, and hypocritical. They also question the Ranjom's claim that Kukis are new settlers, as the designation of someone as a new or old settler is not within their authority. The Young Kuki also points out that the Kuki presence in these regions is well documented and historically significant. They argue that the Ranjom's claim that Kukis are new settlers lacks historical accuracy and legal standing. In conclusion, the Young Kukis' response to the Ranjom's press release highlights the ongoing struggle for the rights of the Kuki-Zo community in India. The CSO leaders of More highly condemned the self-acting DC and SP of Tecnopol, where they did whatever they feel right in More town without the knowledge of CSOs of the district. More CSOs retaliated to their egoistical actions by saying that their hidden agendas will never be put to success by the district CSO leaders. The DC and SP, without concerning the localities and CSO leaders, have planned to station BSF at T Minao area on last 5th June 2024. This matter was carried out egoistically without prior information to any of the More CSO leaders. This self-righteous act of the DC and SP is condemned in the highest manner by the CSO leaders as well as the public. Clearly aware of the unending conflict in the state, their attempt to station BSF in Kuki-dominated areas showed that they are up to no good and is likely to scheme something hazardous to the Kuki people of More. The public greatly condemned the DC and SP for acting on their own without the consent of the CSO leaders, who are representing the collective opinion of the people. Them acting on their own shows they have no regards or respect to the authority of the CSO leaders of the town as well as the culture of the people, says a report. Both are requested to stop this self-righteous act, or else the public shall not remain a silent spectator and retaliating according to the hate of their wrongdoings. Even if this plan is ordered from the central government, they could have at least discussed the matter with the CSO leaders, but they had acted on their own, showing disrespect and disregard to the local CSO leaders, says a reliable report. Hence, the Kuki people of More shall by all means fight back to this evil scheme of the concerned older enforcing and executing authorities. A meeting had been called in regards to this matter today, but no proper resolution or conclusion can be drawn yet. If any individual or groups act on their own in the future, the CSO leaders shall deal with such lawbreakers lawfully. The leaders and citizens of More are tightly bonded with trust, fighting unitedly for the safety and prosperity of their town. If any external forces try anything harmful to the town and people, the leaders shall let the public to show their strong opposal, and befitting actions shall be taken against such individual or groups, no matter who they are. Kim had issued a notice bearing number 41/KIMNT/2308 in connection to compensation or ex gratia to the IDPs who had lost their properties and houses due to the ethnic crisis between the Métis and Kukis since May 3, 2023. The genocidal pogrom carried out by the Métis towards the minority Kuki citizens in the state had prolonged for a year now, but no solution had been issued to the Kuki community by the central government. Instead, the government had announced to issue compensation or ex gratia to the victims and is actively working over it, instead of giving more attention to solving the prolonging ethnic crisis. Kim greatly condemned the Yunnan government who feigned ignorance over the crisis of Manipur, which had already lasted for more than a year, and in connection to this, Kim called an emergency meeting with all its departments under Resolution Number 3, dated 4/7/2023 of its emergency meeting. Kim had issued an order to the general public that a resolution that we the Kukis are no longer under the political rule of the Manipur government, and a political demand had been made to the government of India. Hence, until and unless a political solution is granted or issued by the Yunnan government, all the victims of IDPs are requested to not receive any compensation or ex gratia from the government. It is unfortunate to learn that some of the IDPs are continually working to receive just few amounts of compensation or ex gratia from the government in this time of crisis faced by the whole community. Such people are hereby informed to completely stop their work to receive ex gratia from the government. Leaders of the Congress and other opposition parties on Tuesday said Prime Minister Narendra Modi should pay heed to the advice of RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat and visit Manipur, which has seen violence for over a year now, a day after Bhagwat said the situation in the strife-torn state must be considered a priority. While Congress General Secretary Jairam Ramesh said Bhagwat can perhaps prevail upon the former RSS office bearer to go to the northeastern state. Independent MP Kapil Sibal said, "It is not in the DNA of the Prime Minister to listen to the advice of the opposition, but he should pay attention to the words of the RSS chief." As per India Today Northeast, RJD leader Tejaswi Yadav said, but what has aired his concerns a bit too late and claimed that the Prime Minister has maintained silence on every crisis including Manipur. Asked about RSS chief's concerns about Manipur, the RJD leader said he has been too late in speaking out. The Prime Minister, on his part, has merely kept silent on every crisis, be it violence in the state or protests by farmers and female wrestlers in Delhi, he said. Manipur plunged into violence between the Meitei and Kuki communities in May last year. Since then, some 200 people have been killed, while thousands have been displaced following large-scale arson that has gutted homes and government buildings. Fresh violence has been reported from Jiribam over the past days. Taking a swipe at the Prime Minister, Jairam Ramesh in a post on X said, "If not the one-third Prime Minister's consigns or the repeated demands of the people of Manipur, perhaps Mr. Bhagwat can prevail upon the former RSS office bearer to go to Manipur." Former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel said Mohan Bhagwat is saying so based on his experience. He must have said about the arrogance that is visible. Mohan Bhagwat's remarks on Manipur after a year showed that the difference between BJP and RSS, which were highlighted by JP Nadda, are evident now. Bhagwat on Monday expressed concern over peace eluding Manipur even after 1 year and said the situation in the strife-torn northeastern state must be considered with priority. Addressing a gathering of RSS trainees in Nagpur, Bhagwat said conflict in various places and in society is not good. Rajya Sabha MP Kapil Sibal cautioned the new NDA government against repeating what had happened in the last 10 years of the BJP-led government. "I have been saying this for months, with statements an environment of us versus them is being created. We need to take the country forward. I welcome the statement of Mohan Bhagwat," he said. Sibal said, "I have been repeating this for many months. When I was in the Rajya Sabha in 1998 to 2004, there was a Vajpayee government. I heard his speeches many times. He used to call the opposition Pratipaks. He used to say, 'You are not our Virodi.' PM Modi made the opposition Virodi. We raised concern about Manipur, but what G has also said it now. You don't listen to us because you are not used to listening to us, but listen to him. It is not in your DNA to listen to us. Manipur should be given priority. I have asked for the removal of CMN Biren Singh, but you could not remove the former wrestling body chief. What will you do about the CM?" Sibal said. The former union minister called for the opposition's voice to be heard, saying that only then will the country move forward. As for Bhagwat's remarks, NCP Sarat Pawar leader Supriya Sule Wen said, "We have been questioning the government over the Manipur issue for months. A lot of discussion took place in the parliament over the Manipur situation. Manipur is an integral part of the country. The people, women, children, they are Indians. In Manipur, the convoy of the chief minister was also attacked. It shows that somewhere something is going wrong. A word is not spoken about Manipur, though we saw a discussion on the issue. Leaders from the India bloc traveled to the state, but we were stopped there. Manipur is an integral part of India. Why is it being meted out such treatment?" she said. Congress leader Gaurav Gogoi said he does not expect the Prime Minister to pay attention to Bhagwat's words, but people have chosen the India bloc to speak on their behalf. "I do not expect Prime Minister Modi to pay any attention to the words of RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Prime Minister Modi will avoid Manipur, misuse law enforcement agencies, and try to bend the Indian constitution. Thankfully, the people have chosen the Indian Alliance to speak up on its behalf and defend the Indian Parliament and the Constitution," Gogoi wrote on X. Maharashtra Cabinet Minister and BJP leader Chandrakant Patil described Bhagwat as a fatherly figure and said he has a right to speak if something undesirable is happening. RJD leader Tejaswi Yadav meanwhile accused the BJP of giving in the portfolio allocation despite the state having a decisive role in the new central government. Former Rajasthan Chief Minister and Congress leader Ashok Gehlot said, but what statement on the central government's neglect of the Manipur violence issue has come too late. In the last 1 year, the central government has not taken the internal conflict and violence in Manipur seriously, he posted on X. Gehlot said, while Congress leader Rahul Gandhi visited Manipur several times, Prime Minister Modi never tried to visit the state. The central government on June 11 announced Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi as the next Chief of the Army Staff, COAS. According to a statement issued by the Defense Ministry, Lieutenant General Dwivedi will take charge from the current Army Chief General Manoj Pandey on June 30. The statement said that Lieutenant General Dwivedi will take over after stints as Vice Chief of Army Staff, Northern Army Commander, DG Infantry, and many other command appointments in the force. Dwivedi is an alumnus of Sainik School, Rewa. He was commissioned into the 18th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles in 1984. With a military career spanning over 39 years, Lieutenant General Dwivedi served in both the northern and western theaters of India and was appointed as Deputy Chief at Army Headquarters. He headed the 9th Corps in Himachal Pradesh and was also Director General of Infantry. The newly elected NDA government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved the renaming of 30 places in Tibet, signaling a strong response to China's nomenclature aggression in the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. Ties between the two neighbors hit a low except for threats ever since the Eastern Ladakh border standoff erupted on May 5, 2020, following a violent clash in the Pangong So area. The two sides have so far held 21 rounds of military talks to resolve the standoff. This move comes as a retort to China's renaming of 30 places in Arunachal Pradesh earlier in April, a decision that drew strong objections from India. Under Modi 3.0, India aims to assert its territorial claims by assigning its own names to locations in occupied Tibet. The list comprises 11 residential areas, 12 mountains, 4 rivers, 1 lake, 1 mountain pass, and a piece of land presented in Chinese characters, Tibetan and Pinyin. China's previous actions, including releasing lists of standardized names for places in Arunachal Pradesh since 2017, with the latest list containing almost as many new names as the 3 prior combined. Despite China's repeated claims, India has consistently affirmed Arunachal Pradesh as an integral part and inalienable of the country. The Ministry of External Affairs has maintained that assigning invented names does not alter this reality. This strong response from India comes as China's expansionist policies in regions like the South China Sea have garnered global disapproval. Taking charge as Minister of External Affairs for the second time, Minister S. Jaisankar today reaffirmed the country's robust stance on issues concerning China and Pakistan, stating that both border issues and cross-border terrorism will be dealt with by India. As far as Pakistan and China are concerned, the relations with those countries are different, and the problems there are also different. Our focus with regard to China will be on finding a solution for the border issues, and with Pakistan, we would want to find a solution to the issue of years-old cross-border terrorism, Jaisankar said after assuming office. The just concluded general election has created as many as 10 vacancies in the Rajya Sabha after its members were elected to the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha Secretariat has now notified the vacancies, which include 2 each in Assam, Bihar and Maharashtra, and 1 each in Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Tripura. In its notification giving details of the vacation of seats, the Rajya Sabha Secretariat said, in pursuance of the provision of subsection 2 of Section 69 of the Representation of the People Act 1951, read with Section 67A and subsection 4 of Section 68 of that Act, the following have ceased to be members of Rajya Sabha from the date of their being chosen as members of the 18th Lok Sabha, that is, the 4th of June 2024. Kamakhya Prasad Tasa, Assam; Sarbananda Sonowal, Assam; Misha Bharti, Bihar; Vivek Thakur, Bihar; Dipender Singh Huda, Haryana; Joy Tiraditya M. Sindhya, Madhya Pradesh, Udayan Raji Bhonsle, Maharashtra, Piyush Goyal, Maharashtra, K.C. Venugopal, Rajasthan, and Biplab Kumar Deb, Tripura. After this notification, the Election Commission will now announce the fresh dates for election to fill these vacancies in the Council of States. The Hamas-run Health Ministry in Gaza says an Israeli raid on a refugee camp which led to the rescue of 4 hostages killed 274 people, including children and other civilians. On Saturday, Israel's forces, backed by airstrikes, fought intense gun battles with Hamas in and around the Nusayrat refugee camp, freeing the captives. Noah Argamani, 26, Almog Meirjan, 22, Andrei Kozlov, 27, and Shlomi G, 41, who were abducted from the Nova Music Festival on 7 October, have been returned to Israel. The Israeli military has estimated that fewer than 100 people died in the operation. But the latest figures from the Hamas-run Health Ministry in Gaza would, if confirmed, make it one of the deadliest days of the conflict so far. People living in the densely populated area have described the terror of coming under intense bombardment and heavy gunfire. One man, Abdel Salam Darwish, told the BBC he was in a market buying vegetables when he heard fighter jets from above and the sound of gunfire. Afterwards, people's bodies were in pieces scattered in the streets and blood stained the walls, he said. The return of the hostages to their families has sparked celebration in Israel, and war leaders, including U.S. President Joe Biden, have welcomed the news of their release. But there has been mounting criticism of the deadly cause of the operation inside Gaza, with European Union Foreign Affairs Chief Josep Borrell saying he condemned it in the strongest terms. Reports from Gaza of another massacre of civilians are appalling, he wrote on X. An Israeli minister said that instead of condemning Hamas for hiding behind civilians, the EU had condemned Israel for saving its citizens. Images from the Nusayrat refugee camp area saw intense bombardment and people mourning the dead. 2 hospitals in Gaza, Al-Aqsa Hospital and Al-Awda Hospital, said they have counted 70 bodies between them. The Hamas-run Health Ministry released names of 86 people out of the 274 Palestinians it says were killed during the 2-hour operation. Previously, Israel's military spokesman Daniel Hagari estimated there were fewer than 100 casualties in what was a high-risk complex mission based on precise intelligence. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said special forces operated under heavy fire when rescuing the hostages. One special forces officer was wounded and later died in hospital. A suspect has been arrested in the stabbing of 4 American instructors from a U.S. college in a public park in the city of Jilin in northeastern China, reported CNN. The authorities have identified the stabbing suspect by his last name, Siu, who was described as a 55-year-old man from the city's Longtan district. Police say the accused collided with a foreigner while walking in the Beishan Park, a popular green space in the city center, according to CNN. The suspect then stabbed the instructors and a Chinese visitor who came forward to try to stop him during the event, the police added. Officers were sent to the site and the injured were taken to the hospital for treatment, according to the police, who claimed they received the report at approximately 11:49 a.m. local time on Monday. The educators from Cornell College, a private liberal arts college in Mount Vernon, Iowa, were wounded in a serious incident on Monday while participating in a partnership program with Beihua University in Jilin, according to the CNN. We have been in contact with all 4 instructors and are assisting them during this time, Cornell College President Jonathan Brown said in a statement, adding no students took part in the program. The U.S. State Department is aware of reports of a stabbing incident in China and is monitoring the situation. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds said he is in touch with Iowa's federal delegation and the State Department. I am in touch with Iowa's federal delegation and the State Department in response to this horrifying attack. Please pray for their full recovery, safe return, and their families here at home, he said. New York Times cited a video posted on Chinese social media, purportedly taken after the attack, which showed 3 people lying on the ground surrounded by onlookers. One was soaked in blood while another appeared to be using his hand to apply pressure to his wound. All 3 were using their cell phones. Cornell College is a private 4-year school where the enrollment for the 2022-23 academic year was 1,074 students and the students-to-faculty ratio was 13:1. The top majors at the school that year were biochemistry, kinesiology, engineering, computer science, and politics. The college's academic calendar is divided into 18 blocks where students take one course at a time. China and the United States have recently sought to bolster their educational ties to help stabilize their tense relationship. Last November, China's top leader, Xi Jinping, announced a plan to invite 50,000 young Americans to participate in exchange and study programs over a period of 5 years. That is all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.